It's not your job to protect your mother. You are the child. It is the mother's job, the father's job to protect the child, and she didn't. And that little child inside of you is still hurting and angry and full of sorrow and full of fear, and all that needs to come out.
From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Welcome to the Badass Counseling Show. Wherever you are tuning in from around the world, around the United States, whether it is Europe or Asia, all across the United States, Canada, thank you so much for tuning in. We love having our listeners. Thank you for joining us. As you might know, this is episode 2 of a show that started last week, a show with Skip and Everett. And before we get into that, I just want to greet my team who are both in studio and chatting today. I've got both KC and Rob the Rocket. What say ye?
I'm just looking forward to seeing how you synthesize all this information and these very deep feelings for these two guys, Sven.
KC, how are you doing?
I started out the entire last show just crying immediately. As soon as Skip started speaking, I was crying.
And then
really moved by both of their stories.
And we thought we might get a bit of a reprieve. Everett goes into talking about how he was called a worthless piece of shit every single day of his life.
And then I started crying again.
Right. It's all right. Happens to Rob and me quite regularly. So that's quite all right. And I know you've cried in the booth many, many times. And so this is par for the course, how we do our job here to the degree that we can help folks. So basics for our listeners. If you are only tuning into episode 2 here, continuing from last week, or if you heard all of last week, Skip, as you'll recall, was sexually molested as a 5 or 6-year-old boy by a couple of other boys. And then several months later, a month later, he was publicly shamed at a gathering by the mother of one of those boys, and his mother was not at the gathering. And his mother then found out through the grapevine and got him into therapy. Several months after that, we discover, he shares with us that the cleaning lady who stayed in their home sexually molested him as well. Skip did not tell his mother, feeling deep shame, complete disorientation. He shut down after the first one, and he never talked about any of this. Even with the therapists he was going to and so forth, he became silent and hasn't discussed this either for the most part or completely until right now in episode 1. And then Everett, who has 2 children who are 30 and 19. Everett is 57. Everett still sees himself as worthless, 70% worthless. And he believes that he has passed this on to his own kids and that they see themselves as worthless. And he feels profound shame and guilt over that. And he parented his children. He did not give them a safe place, a lot of anger. He came from a place of no self-worth. He was extremely strict, carried a lot of anger, and he did not hit his kids like he was hit, but he believes he passed on that sense of worthlessness to them because he did not provide that warmth and safety. So we've got 2 men, Skip 31, Everett 57, 2 men who feel profound amount of shame for their childhood, and it still carries with them today. Everett, I'd like to start with you, if we could. What right now is the relationship between you and your children?
Well, my oldest would be polite, casual. There's no tension when we're around each other. I think my oldest is struggling because I did the journaling. You say don't send the letters, right? Mm-hmm. So I did this whole journaling about how I was a father to them. All the horrible anger, put it all out there. And I told him that as in the letter, I said, the sucky part about it is if I could erase it all, I would change it, but I can't. So I'm hoping this will help maybe you'll do the work. You're going to have to do the work. I let them know that they weren't worthless and that they were enough just being who they were.
In the letters
existing.
or in real life, you let them know that?
No, so I wrote the letter and then I sent it to both of them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, you said don't
Sure.
send it, but that one I did.
Great.
Um,
Great.
my oldest didn't respond. Our conversations, I don't feel like there's tension there, but I feel like right now, with what I'm trying to work through and do, I feel like there's a huge, big confusion with that one. And possibly like, "Nah, I'm not forgiving you." And that's fine. You don't have to forgive me. Just as long as I can put you in a position to see what I see and you can start healing. My youngest, since I sent that letter, the tension between us is just this kind of disappeared. Everything got really light. The youngest seeks me out now to have conversations. I think that's a good sign, but I also worry that maybe that one is got stuff bottled because I feel like my youngest saw the oldest and the strictness and the rules and the punishments that came down on that one. So my youngest decided to be, well, I'm going to be the perfectionist, follow all the rules because shit can't happen to me.
Right.
And I feel like, and I've recognized that one with that. And I'm saying, hey, you don't have to be perfect. I've tried to start that. So since I sent that letter to that one, things kind of lightened up a little bit between the two of us.
Okay.
The oldest one I feel like I don't like the idea that the youngest might be bottling stuff up. I don't like that.
Right.
I feel like the oldest one is going to be the struggle with recognizing I was the issue, and that one,
Right.
they're going to have to heal. They're going to have to figure out a way to heal.
They both are. And with ones who are, your kids are 30 and 19, the oldest is 30, youngest 19, obviously.
Right.
With somebody as young as 19, their inclination is, it's no big deal, I got it, it's okay, Dad, or
Yes.
whatever. They're less likely to allow the feelings up. A 30-year-old is still unlikely, but they are moving towards that age where it can't be kept down anymore. And clearly your older one feels that anger, and that is represented in the polite, casual, and not forgiving and so forth. Quick question: if you could choose having your child healed, but you have no relationship with them, or having a relationship with your child, but they're not healed from what you've done, which would you choose?
I would choose that they heal.
Right.
I saw one of your little video snippets on TikTok that said I would actually choose that they at least healed.
Right. Okay. So you may never be forgiven.
Exactly.
You may never have a relationship of any sort, and the fact that you do, it's a blessing. All right?
Yes.
And I know you know that. So the goal with regard to them is you forever being cognizant of the fact that I have wounded them. What can I do for them? You, with regard to you, is bringing up the stuff, because you do have control over what you bring up from your past. Okay. Out of curiosity, when did you send those letters or the letter to each of your kids?
Ooh,
How long ago?
maybe 3 weeks ago.
2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so this is new. Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was doing the journaling with the whole self-worth. I was doing that homework thing, and then all of a sudden it was like I call them realizations. It hit me. I was like, holy shit, what did you do?
Right.
And I started thinking about their behaviors and their actions, and I was like, holy crap, I've done the exact same thing.
Okay. You need
So
to.
I laid out that journaling and I sent it to them.
All right. That's a wonderful start. And generally, it's the sending of the letters to people we're still wanting something from, like a
Yes.
parent, something like that. That's where it's optional. I'm not saying you shouldn't at all. I'm just saying if the goal is healing, you don't have to send it. But with your own children, they need to hear that. And once isn't going to be enough. And this is going to be an ongoing thing, because right now to them, it could be like, yeah, who fucking cares, old man? Fuck you.
Full
I'll
of shit.
believe it when I see
he's
it.
full
Yeah.
of-
Right.
Yeah, you're full of shit. You ain't changed. Why do you think I'm going to believe you changed now?
You have a
Yeah.
30-year pattern of behavior with your oldest. It's not going to be changed in one off or even 1 year. Okay, so I personally, because of the actions of my ex-wife, I unfortunately got alienated from my kids while we were still married, and then after the divorce, and it lasted a good 20 years. 15 for sure. But in their 20s and now especially in their 30s, we're quite close. But it's taken years of rebuilding, years of no conversation about this stuff, and then out of the blue, there'll be a conversation. There'll be a something small, and it'll relate, and so on and so forth. You've got to take the long-term approach. And if I'm being totally honest with you, when our divorce happened in 1996, I said, and my kids were 6 and 3, I said to myself, I know that I have to wait at least until they're 35. Because around 35 is usually roughly 35, 40 is when we make a different transition. Something happens in us in those ages. It's not just we begin to see as adults. It's just something we want to find out who we really are, what the real truths are. And I knew if I could last till 35, them being 35, which would be fundamentally 30 more years, that it's not even that I get to tell my story. It's that they would finally begin to just see life differently. And sure enough, it became true actually about 15 years later. But the point is, you need to take the long approach. Because if you're wanting...
That's my biggest fear.
What's that?
Sorry. My biggest fear is I'm 57. And 35 sounds like, okay, I'm 57. I don't know that I got that much time left.
So what do you fear happening? In one sentence, if you say that's your biggest fear, what do you fear happening?
When it comes to my oldest, that I would die, and
what?
That one hasn't at least started to look at trying to heal.
So you wouldn't get to see them healed?
Yes, that's a better way.
Is that the biggest fear, or is the biggest fear that I won't get to connect with the child? Because if the child heals, who gives a fuck? I mean, yes, it'd be nice if they started healing this year or next year, obviously. But if there was a good shot of your children healing even after you die, it's good, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's almost as though you saying, my biggest fear is me dying. If you're being really honest, let me ask you, right, the disconnection. So let me ask you this. How much is what you are really wanting is them to forgive you, to relieve you of the shame and the guilt that you need that from them. Is that what's going on inside of you? Be honest.
I didn't think I did, because I'd say it can work if I don't, but honestly, now that you're asking that, no, yeah, I'm looking for some sort of forgiveness sign.
Right. So you're wanting forgiveness from them, and on the other end, what you're wanting from mom and dad, especially mom, especially both, is one of them.
My dad's passed.
Dad's dead, right? So mom to come to you and say, "You were a good kid. I'm so sorry for what the fuck I did." Can you imagine if your mom came to you and did what, even just once, what you did for your kids in that letter? What would that feel like?
Relief.
And what would be the biggest thing that when we think of relief, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. You're being relieved of indigestion. If I set down a giant rock, I'm being relieved of that weight. What would you be relieved of if mom did that?
That they actually cared, that they actually loved me.
But that's not what you'd be relieved of. That's something beautiful you'd be taking on. What would you be relieved of? What would be the burden you would no longer be carrying?
I wouldn't be worthless.
Right. So you believe that you need mom, and only mom has this power. Mom has the golden key to the jail cell that you are locked in. And that jail cell, every bar on that jail cell has etched in it, you're worthless, you're a piece of shit, you're not lovable the way you are. Who you really are doesn't matter. And she, and only she, has the key for you to be free. You need that, otherwise you've basically said, I'll continue to believe I am worthless.
You know what? That's got me thinking, because I started a trend when I started this self-work 5 years ago. I started a trend sending my parent a good morning, positive
How did
message
it go?
every morning.
And
And it led up to being, you're a great son. You're such a blessing to me. But thinking about it now, honestly, when I read those, it doesn't really mean much.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Because
because I still feel worthless. Even though,
right. And so let me ask you this then, and then we're going to shift over to Skip here in a second. What do you think the biggest feeling is, if there's the big one? What do you think the biggest feeling is that you still have not touched inside you regarding mom and dad?
anger,
Why?
being mad about it, but it hurt. But the thing about it is, I learned through some of this that anger is usually a cover for a hurt or a pain. So
It is. It is.
I spent a lot of years carrying anger, especially towards my own immediate family.
Of course. And you're
I don't want to carry that no more. So
well,
I try
then you
to
got to
look
get
for
it out,
ways-
motherfucker. Then you got to get it out. You can just say, I don't want to do it, or I'm not going to give them that, or, you know, that's a waste of my time, or whatever, until it's actually out of you. So you said mom committed the greater crime. What percent do you, if you were to be honest, let's take the extreme. Let's take anger to the extreme. What percent do you hate your mother for not protecting you when she had 4 times as much power as your father, and she would walk away? Her son was being fucking verbally attacked, abused, and physically abused, you said, and she turned her back on you. What percent do you hate your mother?
I have to say 100%.
And in one
I've been delusioning myself on that.
Yeah, you have, brother, and that's all right. You've had to protect yourself from feeling it all, because that fundamentally means, I mean, if she has the power to stop it, and it's happening repeatedly, day after day after day after day for years, and the physical beatings, and she has the power to stop it and chooses not to, that's right up there. That fits under the heading of monster. Dad's a monster too.
Right.
I'm not disputing that. So that says mom and dad weren't good parents. You can't say, oh, they did their best. It's fucking bullshit. She had the power to stop it.
Well, I did say that internally, kind of go through, well, they had a bad childhood too. It was horrible. So
your dad treated your sister better. They didn't do their best. Sorry.
You're right.
Is there any definition? Right. Why did you choose to not beat your kids? One sentence or less. Why did you choose to not beat them?
Because I got beat.
So you are conceding that what they did there was bad.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, and is it love to beat a child?
No.
Is it love to call a child a worthless piece of shit and to constantly criticize them and to be and so forth? Is that love?
No.
What percent did you feel loved as a child?
0.
So we know your parents were not good parents. We know your parents did not love you. That love was not being conveyed. And what's fascinating is the child believes mom and dad are good. Mom and dad love me. No, they didn't. And no, they weren't. The child believes I'm at fault. I'm to blame. And they made sure you thought that. They both did. But it was
Why is that?
Why what? Why did they do that?
Why does the child always look at the parent still?
The child needs to believe it. They need to believe they are loved. Otherwise, the world becomes giant. They feel so small and so alone. That little boy that you were felt so tiny and so afraid, and no fucking person on earth was protecting him. No goddamn person was fucking protecting that little boy, either you, Everett, or Skip. No one was protecting you guys. You had to believe that they loved you. You had to believe that they were good. You needed to believe in something.
You sure the hell couldn't believe in yourself.
No, they couldn't. They didn't let you. They wanted to make sure you didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And so that little boy believed he was the problem. They told him, you're to blame. You're the problem. Something's wrong with you. Let me ask you a point blank question, Everett, and I want a yes or no. Considering all the shame that you have felt, considering how horrible you felt about yourself, was Skip at 5 years old inherently an unlovable little boy? Was he a bad boy who was unlovable and bad and worthless? Was Skip worthless and unlovable intrinsically?
No.
Oh, but you were. So Skip didn't deserve to feel shame, didn't deserve to feel like a piece of shit. He was a good little boy. But you, no, you deserved it. Mom and Dad must have been right. Is that what you're trying to tell me now? So the second question is, was the little boy named Everett worthless? Was he intrinsically, innately, inherently unlovable? Because,
No.
okay, right.
I rationalized everything by looking at it as, if I just followed the rules, if I just stayed invisible.
Well, that's what the little boy does. He uses, and he thinks that way. If I, then they'll love me. Then they'll be nice to me. Then, right. But now looking back, it didn't fucking matter what you did.
No, didn't.
You were fucked. They didn't love you. By their actions, they sure as fuck didn't love you. And they always say, oh, actions speak louder than words. Right. Well, it's true.
Yeah.
Their actions didn't say love. They certainly were. That's not good parenting. Oh, they put food on your back, food on the table, clothes on your back, and roof over your head. No, they didn't. They put the roof over your head and food on the table for themselves. You just happened to fucking be there. They hated you. Okay. Skip. What should your mother have done? What do you wish your mother had done?
To punch that lady in the face.
But she wasn't there, so she should have gone to her later and punched her in the face?
Yeah, beat her. Yeah, like, just like...
and
I don't know, for that kid, maybe for that child at that moment, seeing that would be healing.
Do you...
For me now.
Of course. Yeah. What sort of messages did you get from your mother after the boys abused you and after the woman abused you?
I barely recall it because she didn't directly speak about it to me, but she helped me to get around it somehow with therapy and stuff like that. Again, she was a teacher, a director of the school, and she studied psychology, and she had a notion of how to treat this kind of situation. But yeah, I wasn't being very helpful either.
Well, wait a minute. No. I'm sorry. You don't get to blame a 5-year-old kid for not being very helpful.
Oh, yeah.
That's not your job to fucking explain it to the fucking adults. It's their job to help a little boy find his words and to find healing, et cetera, et cetera. You said your mom had a background in education and in psychology and so forth. And we're going to dive a little further into your story when we come right back from this.
You've heard Sven talk a lot about his book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. And that's because Sven hears from his followers a lot about how much the book has helped them. If you're not sure how to handle the issues getting in the way of a better life, you're not alone. And you have a lot of choices. But thousands of readers will tell you that this is a great place to start, by yourself and at your own pace. So go to badasscounseling.com and order There's a Hole in My Love Cup, and you'll have Sven right there with you as you forge your best future. It's totally badass. So get started today.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back with Skip and Everett. Skip, I asked the question of Everett a bit ago, what % he felt loved growing up. I'm going to ask you now, what % did you feel loved growing up? If you're to be totally honest.
By my mother, 80%.
And when you say 80%, just one sentence or less, why 80%? Why not 65? Why not 92? Why 80%?
Well, just in terms of economics, 80-20% is just the majority. No, that's a good start. Then let me ask you this. Pause. Close your eyes, please. Close your eyes right now. Now, actually, don't think about economics. Don't think about anything. Just feel the answer. Feel your childhood.
what percent did you feel loved by your mother?
It's high up.
What number?
80.
Okay,
I'd say
80 is fine. That's fine. Okay. And what accounts for the 20% that you didn't feel loved by your mother?
Moments that she wasn't there. She worked a lot. So, different issues that might come up.
And what percent of your childhood, I mean, your mom ran a school, busy woman, single mom, raising a child. What percent of your childhood was mom not there?
60, 70%.
60 to 70% of your childhood, she was not there. And so that means 60 or 70% that she was not there. Were you alone?
No, we lived in a closed neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go out and play with the other kids.
Okay. And what would you say were the top three feelings you felt as a child that dominated sort of your childhood? Or even one. Was it the shame or was it something else?
I'd say I was an angry boy, even at a very young age. I remember I was 3 years old, and I already recognized the difference between Americans and Mexicans, and the dispute that they have or whatever. So, I mean, I was pretty aware of, and I was aware of my parents' divorce as well. So, I guess not growing up with my dad and seeing other kids as well, I don't know. I mean, I was pretty confused. I was angry, confused.
Okay. And so you said you were an angry kid even as early as 3 years old, which would have been years before you were sexually abused by the boys and then by the cleaning lady. Why, if you were to sum it up, why do you think you were angry at 3 years old? Anger is generally a response to pain. Oh, you laughed, so I want to hear the answer to this. Go ahead. Why were you angry at 3 years old?
I guess I was just I could realize the pain my mother was having due to the divorce or stuff like that, and how that related to my life.
But what was the impact on the boy? Feelings that we have, feelings are a natural response to a stimulus. What were you so angry about, and what was the hurt underneath the anger that you were so angry about? Or one of the things I talk about in the book is children shout loudest when feeling heard least. That anger, that acting out, which naturally comes with anger, that was in a response to something that you weren't, is it possible you weren't feeling heard, weren't getting enough attention, didn't feel seen, didn't feel loved? What the hell was going on with that boy that even by 3 years old, some need isn't being met and he's angry? Or what is being modeled in your home such that you are defaulting to so much anger?
I guess it was the father figure.
But dad's gone.
I know.
So why were you angry?
He would come like to the house once a year or so. So I knew he existed, but so yeah.
So
I guess it was abandonment or some feeling like that made me feel angry as a child.
you believe that it's the abandonment of the father, and yet you also said, you said your mom was gone 60 to 70% of the time. Couldn't it be argued you were abandoned by your mother? She was there, but absent.
Absent, yeah. I mean, obviously not the same as my dad, but...
Well, let me ask you then, and this is a question only you can answer. Which was worse for you?
Oh, my dad.
Why?
Because when he visited once a year, he just visit for one day and then leave.
So then you would be angry an entire year at dad.
Confused, angry.
Confused, angry? Sure. But mom's right there. Did you feel like did you feel like you wanted more of mom? Like your needs for attention and affection from mom were being met?
Probably not.
No, I'm asking you what you felt.
Oh.
Did you feel, No?
No.
I'm going to ask you a strange question. In your work that you've been doing on yourself, which I applaud you for, Skip, I do. in your work that you've been doing on yourself, what percent might you be protecting your mother from the truth? Protecting yourself, not wanting to look at the truth because you feel an obligation to protect her, or she was there, so I should give her the benefit of the doubt, or stuff like that. What percent are you, or have you been, protecting your mother?
At first, 100%. And after the book, 50.
At first, 100%, and after the book, 50. And what was the biggest thing that in the book that caused you to stop protecting her so much? What was the big realization? Because you cut it in half. What led to you cutting that in half, or not feeling that need or the desire to protect her?
What you explain is that we as children, we shouldn't protect our parents in a way that is actually detrimental to us.
So you're still protecting her 50%, and it's okay. I get this with every single one of my clients, all right? It's okay. So no judgment. But let me ask you this. What do you think in your own work with yourself is the single biggest way that you still protect your mother? As you're doing your own self-work, or even as we're talking here, what do you think the biggest way is that you still protect your mother, or protect yourself from seeing the truth about your mother?
Because I know a little bit about her life, what happened to her.
And so you know about her life, and so that becomes you protect her by I'm going to put it out there. You tweak it, okay? Throw it out the window if you want to, if it doesn't connect. But basically, because I know about her life and her past, I go easy on her, and I don't look at or want to acknowledge or go into my full feelings about how I really feel about how the fuck she parented me, because I know she had it hard.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So what you just said then, you just admitted that there's more there. There's more truth there, and there are more feelings there. But I'm not going to look at those. I'm not going to give those full acknowledgement. I'm not going to go into my full feelings, because I kind of, Mom had it rough. So you're letting her off the hook. So you're not denying the crime committed. You're not denying that she did bad things or let you down, or that you have strong feelings against her. You're just saying, I have them, but I'm not going to look at them. I'm not going to allow myself to feel all of it. I don't want to bring it all up because, hey, look how hard she had it. So I'm going to sort of let it off. I'm going to let her off the hook by me ignoring or denying the truth, the entirety of the truths, and how I really feel about it.
Yeah, because she's the only parent that actually loves me. So
right. But can I ask you this? Do you have any children of your own?
No, I don't.
Okay. Have you ever dated?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had an argument with somebody that you loved, like dating?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. In that time when you're arguing with them and you feel anger towards them and maybe you want to wring their neck or something like that, did you stop loving them, or did the love still exist in you, but in this moment I'm feeling angry? In other words, do you believe in mixed feelings? It's possible to have mixed feelings towards a person or in a event.
Yes. Yes.
Of course. Okay. So you loving your mom and you being understanding of your mom's past can still exist while you be angry at your mom for what she did, you being disappointed in your mom. But what you're saying is, I'm not going to look at all the anger. I don't want to feel all the anger and disappointment because I love her so much and I want to protect her. But that doesn't help you heal. To heal means to look at both, to feel all of it, not just both, even all of the feelings. But you're saying, I'm not going to really look at all the truths. I'm not going to really feel everything because, hey, mom had it rough. Does this make sense what I'm saying?
Yes. And I just have to say, it's not what she did. It's probably the things that she didn't.
And what was the single biggest thing that mom didn't do?
In the same way that this lady publicly shamed me, maybe doing the same, not the shaming part, but, defending me in front of other people, in front to this lady. I mean,
right. She didn't defend you, whether publicly or privately, to this lady. She didn't defend you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in the case of Everett, if Everett's mom had defended him gotten in front of his father, if Everett's mom had said, "You back the fuck down, you asshole," she had the power. And time again, she didn't. But if she had stood up for him and defended him, she would have been protecting him, right? She would have been protecting Everett, right? So you're fundamentally saying mom's biggest crime is that she didn't protect me. She didn't defend me. She didn't protect me.
Or at least I didn't see it when I was a kid.
And you didn't feel it, obviously.
Well, yeah, now as an adult, I can realize the different complexities that were in play, you know?
Meaning
And
what? What does that mean with regard to your mom in this situation? She didn't defend you. How does that relate to this? Now as an adult, what?
just the timing of things, right? So she wasn't at the house when that happened. It wasn't like in the immediate moment that she defended me.
Right.
But, you know,
But what?
later she sought out for my help, getting specialists and stuff like that. So now
And
as an
yet,
adult,
okay, and so you see all those things as an adult, and what we do as an adult oftentimes is that's called rationalizing, and we say, well, I understand this, and I understand this, and this, and this, and so it makes sense, but that doesn't make the feelings of the child go away.
absolutely.
That's you as an adult fundamentally diminishing, saying, hey, sorry, kid, that doesn't make sense. The child inside of you are saying to that child, I know you have all these feelings of feeling abandoned, feeling alone, feeling unprotected, feeling mom didn't give a fuck. You had feelings as a child, and they're still in you. And the adult you, 30-year-old you, 31-year-old you is coming along and saying, hey, kid, you're going to have to stuff those away, okay? Like you've been doing. Except now it's not somebody else saying it. Now it's you saying it. And you're saying, stuff that shit down, kid, because, hey, mom, look how hard mom worked. Mom had it hard. And the little boy is saying, but I'm angry, and I'm sad. No, both things can be true. Sure, mom had blah, 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 blah. And you can allow all of that fucking rage, all of that disappointment, all of that feeling of betrayal, all of that sorrow to come out at mom. You don't ever have to confront the living, breathing mom. But how about just the pretend mom? How about you just write her some real fucking letters and not protect her? It's not your job to protect your mother. You are the child. It is the mother's job, the father's job to protect the child, and she didn't. And that little child inside of you is still hurting and angry and full of sorrow and full of fear, and all that needs to come out. And I'm going to ask you one more question, and that's this. You said you felt 80% loved as a child and 20% presumably unloved. 80% loved. Yet you went on to tell me that prior to starting your self-work, you had been protecting your mom 100%, and now you only protect her 50%. So is it possible that 50% that you are protecting your mom now is affecting that number that you're saying that you were loved by your mom? Is it possible that number, that little boy, not adult you, who understands mom, but little boy you, is it possible that little boy you felt far less loved, but big boy you, 31, man you, says, hey, we're protecting mom now, all right? She did her best. She had a rough childhood. She was treated like shit. Stuff those feelings down. Is it possible that number of you saying mom loved you 80% is still you protecting her from the truth?
Absolutely.
So if we were to take another swing at that number, you don't have to. You can keep the same number. Hell, you can bump that number up to 100%. You can do whatever the fuck you want. This is your show for this moment. Let me ask you, what if we were to go now honestly, without knowing you can go back to protecting your mom in a minute. You honestly can. But for this moment, if we just allowed the truths to come up and allowed the feelings to be, and close your eyes again, what percent did that boy feel loved by his mother?
I'd say 40.
What are you feeling right now?
The discomfort of realization. That's what I'm feeling.
And what's the biggest realization that you've had right now? Or if you were to sum it up, what are you realizing?
That the section that I wrote about my mom in the journaling is bullshit.
Right. Okay. Now, I need to remind you, you don't ever have to confront your mother. You don't ever have to change your relationship with your living, breathing mother. You don't. Nothing has to change. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But if you're going to have heal, you have to get motherfucking honest with yourself, because otherwise you're protecting everyone else, whether it's the abusers themselves or people who didn't do enough or whatever. You're not protecting the victim. So if you're not going to protect little boy Skip, then who is? So you can still have whatever relationship with your mom that you want. I don't give a fuck. That's not the point. The point is, are you going to give that little boy the voice? Because he's coming to you and saying, you're a man. I was just a little boy. Please let my feelings out. And you set him free by doing that. You set him free of that jail, but he introduces you to your authentic self for the first time in your motherfucking miserable life. He introduces you to yourself because he shows you what you were really feeling but weren't allowed to feel. And I have to believe that a single mom raising a child, and to the degree that I raise my children, even as a divorced parent, that the child is always wanting the parent to be happy, doesn't want to put their own burdens on the parent, and so on and so forth. And so you thought, well, I'll just keep my feelings out. My feelings don't matter. I just, and you may have even gotten a message, hey, don't be a problem. We got to just move forward, and mom's got work, and so on and so forth. I'm sure she's a wonderful woman. That's not the point. But the point is, it's like, let's move forward. And so you likely have kept those feelings down, and now that little 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 9-year-old, 12-year-old is wanting to let his feelings out, and you have the opportunity. And that's how we heal, by being fucking authentic and looking at the truth. When you go into your self-work, you don't have to protect anyone except that little boy. KC, I want to bring you in here.
I mean, I love the way that Sven just put that. And in my own work, Sven knows I went through this with my mother, who, if you asked me what percent did I love her or think she was a good mother, it was 100%. Mm-hmm. And it took me years to realize the things that my parents did to me that damaged me and were affecting my relationships with other people, until I was able to realize that I could simultaneously, like Sven said, love my mother, but be able to look at the shit that she put on me and did to me. And for a year or two, I hated my mother. And I got all that stuff out, and I looked at the ugly stuff, and I protected the child that was me. And then I was able to come back to a place of fully loving my mother, or not. Mm-hmm. It's just about allowing your feelings to be your feelings, not protecting other people in them. Just looking at your own stuff. Just closing thoughts for you. Fuck your father who abandoned you. Like, that really pisses me off. You're a beautiful young man, and just fuck him. You are so brave. You did nothing wrong, nothing for you to be ashamed of. Your bravery is going to help other people that have both been sexually abused, abandoned, and are thinking about suicide. This is going to help so many people, and I hope mostly that it's helped you. And you are doing the work, and you are doing a beautiful job with the work, and I hope you continue it.
Thank you.
And Everett, what's going on inside of you right now, Everett?
A little bit enlightened. You were talking about, because I do love my mom, but how do I do the little kid of being completely fucking pissed off at her? And when you said you can do both, I was like, I didn't realize I could do that. So that's where I'm at with that. I was like, okay, I got a lot of writing to do.
Huh.
So my mind wants to go ahead and transfer that over to my own kids.
Mm-hmm. In what way?
How I can start writing. You can love your parent if you want.
I'm going to come back to Everett when we get his feed going here again. He may have to come out and then come back in. Skip, what are you feeling?
It's just this overwhelming discomfort of the realization about my relationship with my mother. How much time I've been bullshitting myself about this balance that needs to be seen, which is the rationalization of the adult, and on the other hand, the child that did not understand what the fuck was going on.
Right.
So thank you, Sven.
Yeah, and just so you know, Skip, I guarantee you, as a matter of absolute fact, if Everett could go back to 31, what you are now, and heal his shit, he'd do it in 2 fucking seconds flat. He is so fucking jealous of you right now. And he probably wasn't thinking it, but now he is. It's like, fuck, man, this kid, and sorry, you're not a child, but when you get to be 57, his age, almost 59, my age, 31's a kid. You know, in a beautiful way. You're a young man. But Everett's thinking, fuck, man, this kid's awesome. I wish I could have done that. I wish I would have thought. And you are so far ahead of the curve, Skip. You really are. Everett, am I correct?
Yes, exactly. You're exactly right. If I could go back 5 years, that would do it.
Exactly.
Much less,
yeah, fucking 26 years, right? Right.
Yeah, right.
But you need to understand what you just said, Skip. You said, I feel overwhelming discomfort. Okay. This is the moment. In your self-work, or now in your conversations with me, in your self-work, this moment when that overwhelming discomfort comes up, this is when people quit. This is when people quit therapy. This is when people shut down even when they're in therapy. This is when people quit their self-work. This is when people quit becoming. The benefit you have, Skip, of being in this session with Everett is you're seeing a guy 26 years older than you not quitting. He's saying this is so fucked. And he's got double the pain just in terms of timeline. I'm not saying sexual abuse versus what he went through. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's got it, the pain from his past and the pain from his future, that is his kids, attacking him from both sides. And I'm not saying his is worse than yours, whatever. I'm just saying double the direction is what I should have said. And he's not backing down. He knows that he's wrought a lot of damage, but he also knows, and he better fucking know, that he's endured so much damage. And both of those can be undone. Okay? But here's the thing. He's not backing down, even though he's overwhelmed. And that's one of the things that kind of comes with experiencing that pain long enough that at 57, it's just like, I can't back down from this now. I can't anymore. So you have a decision to make, Skip, every day. Do I go further in? Do I keep pressing myself to look at and feel the ugly truths, even when it comes to my sacred mother? Or even when it comes to maybe deep down you do love your father, and that needs to come up too. You know, you can be abundantly angry at the motherfucker, and you can still have love. Doesn't mean you ever have to act on it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But it's welcoming up all of it, to say, I'm an adult. For the first time in my life, I want to see all of the truth. I want to feel all of the truth. That's what it means to flush it out. So Everett, you were saying, I was asking you what you feel, and you were saying enlightenment and so forth, and we got cut off there. Following up.
Yeah, I got a lot of writing to do, so seeing that I could do the writing of being angry and getting the kid part out, protecting the child, and still keep the relationship with the parent, and figuring out how to, my mind wants to go through, wow, how do I relay that to my own kids? I understand doing the bottle, but no matter how much I try to do the bottle, I'm trying to focus right now, just me. But my mind still goes to that. I want them to know that they can heal from it.
Sure. And the truth is, you can flush out the stuff that's in that other bottle, that bottle that we talked about in episode 1 of all the shame and anger at yourself and sadness over how you raise your kids. And what I talked about in episode 1 is how when we bring up anger or sadness regarding our own parents, our own shame over how we raised our own kids, that can get in the way. And it hurts too much to think of how much I hurt them. So we back away from, attacking the parents, the parents of our past, not the real life parents, but attacking the parents and being mad and feeling the sadness and all that. We back away because it hurts so much to think that I did it to my kids. And so if you want, you can also let out that second bottle, the bottle of all the things you feel you did to your kids and all the shame and all the anger, and just journal that out and write letters you don't send. You don't have to send every thought. You don't have to send every feeling. And the truth is, because at some point you don't want to overwhelm them too soon. All right, this is very fresh. And so that's why you can be flushing out for your own self while going into allowing all those feelings to come up and out of you. KC, thoughts for Everett, regarding Everett, questions?
I hope that you will really focus on doing your own work, because there are some tough conversations coming up with your kids. Your older one has only received this letter 3 weeks ago, so give him time to digest it, give him time to feel it, and figure out how he wants to respond, if he responds. But I know, like with me, with my own kids, when they were ready to unload on me, I had to be ready to receive that and not be triggered and not get defensive. And that was only after years of working on myself and realizing this. So, life is long. You're playing the long game right now with your kids, and you're doing the work yourself, and you have realizations about what's happened with them. Give yourself grace. And then just for both of you, you're just both so brave. Like, we don't see the people that you see. We see two really abused people as kids that are doing work and that are kind human beings. And I just love you both so much. I really do. Yeah. Your story has touched me, and I know it's going to touch a lot of other people. And please keep living, Skip. Don't do anything to yourself, because you're a beautiful man and a brave man and a kind man, and we want to see you both keep thriving and moving forward.
And Everett, I just also, to piggyback, I like what she said to Skip there, and to piggyback, the fact that you're 57 and doing this shit. You and I come from a different generation in our late 50s, right? Guys didn't do this shit. Guys don't do this shit now.
Nope.
So that you're doing this shit now, and I know KC had it written in her notes that say this too to you, and that is, doing this at your fucking generation, dude, come on. That's impressive. Okay. Skip, one question. How old is your mom?
She is 57, 58.
Okay. Isn't it interesting? We have a 57-year-old man here in this episode, these episodes, and who has a 30-year-old son in real life and a 19-year-old daughter in real life, I believe. And here,
reverse that.
Oh, 30-year-old daughter, 19-year-old son.
Yes.
And then we have a 31-year-old man here who, in real life, has a 57-year-old mom. Now, I am telling all of our listeners, my producers did not plan this. None of us planned this. But you got to admit, it's pretty fucking interesting. So I have a question for each of you, but it's going to be slightly different. Everett, you've heard Skip's story right along with us. You've heard me talking with Skip as you've been processing, going through your own shit in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, what do you, if anything, what do you most want to say to Skip?
I'm proud of him. Takes a lot of courage for him to openly come out and talk. I don't really know him, but I just met him here. Mm-hmm. But I love him. I think he's a really great human being. And I'm sorry he went through what he went through.
Thank you, Everett. Skip? You don't have to say a thing, but what do you want to say? You don't have to say it in response to Everett and what he said. You can, but that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, and what you have heard Everett's story. Father calling him a worthless piece of shit, standing in the doorway, the hollering and the yelling. And you've heard the story of his mom just walking out. Mom having all the power and not stopping it. You've heard the story about how the guilt that he feels over how he raised his children and being extremely strict and having a lot of anger and hollering and having no self-worth and not giving them a safe place. You've heard his entire story right along with us, all right? What do you want to say to Everett?
I appreciate your words. Thank you. And I want to say that the patience and the work that you're putting in, especially with your oldest kid, I really hope it takes you to to the point where you have a good relationship. Just thinking about my father quickly, I really wish my father had the same courage as you do, Everett. I really do. I mean, and as Ben said, I mean, your generation is built different, you know. So that courage is double the work I do. I realize your pain. I can see it, and I just wish that the book that Sven wrote and your own work as well takes you to the place that you want with your kids. Keep on loving, you know. Keep on loving. Love is I know it sounds kind of corny, but love is the most powerful feeling that we have as humans, you know. And the patience that you're showing yourself and the work that you're actually putting in, I really hope it pans out for you. I really do.
Beautiful. Everett?
I appreciate that. I hope the work you put in. Oh, it cut out again.
No, we got you.
Oh, okay. I hope you can find peace and realize that nothing that happened to you was your fault.
That's right.
I'm impressed with the fact that you talk about loving, considering what you've gone through. And that not being destroyed is amazing.
It all coexists inside of us. It's all there. Bring it all up, fellas. Bring it all up. Flush it all out. And as it's all out, then what is left is your authentic self. And you will be who you authentically are. But all that you guys are going through, all the swirling thoughts and fears, and all the feelings pounding in your chest and in your gut, none of that was originally you. That was all the shit that got packed into you, Everett. All the shit that got done to you, Skip. All of it. We get all that out, and what we're back to is that wonderful little boy and his buddy, Skip and Everett. Imagine them both as 8-year-old boys being buddies. Just a couple of sweet little boys who didn't go through any of that. That's what happens now as we get out all that crud. Rob.
Yeah, Sven, and you and Casey, even the guys, have largely answered this, but they're both working so hard. Do they need to work harder? Do they need to work differently? And if you could summarize that to them, what would you say?
I'd say the work inside of ourselves, it's like a pulse that we do. It's like, you know how the tides recede and they ebb and they flow and so forth. That's what this work is. And there are times when you're going to need to rest. And there are going to be times when you just put it aside and you're going to go ignore it, whether for a day or for a week or whatever. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Rest is important. Sleep at night, shut down time just watching TV or going to a race or whatever game. But when you're in the work, keep opening. Keep opening. Because those, to use your perfect words there, Skip, extreme discomfort, that when that comes up, push yourself through it. Stay in it. Keep opening. That goes to both of you. But otherwise, what you guys are doing is great. You just got to keep pushing, and you can cycle back through the book and writing those letters and journaling. And there are other books that I recommend in the recommended reading list that aren't mine even, just other great books in that recommended reading list in Love Cup. But I've also written other ones, that I have, but there are some great authors who have written good stuff. KC, I want to check in with you one last time.
I was just going to say that I love what Skip said about love.
Keep loving.
Keep on loving. And there was so much love in this room between all of you. And to that end, we have Community Plus for both of you to join if you want to be involved in small group sessions with Sven and other community members that are sort of like you guys, just kind of loving on each other. And then we also have a free group on Facebook, where you can post anonymously or just talk to like-minded people. Yeah, a lot of great stuff at the website, badasscounseling.com. Fellas, what are you feeling, Everett? Feeling words.
I'm overwhelmed a little bit right now. Pretty good.
And what are you most overwhelmed with?
the work I got to do.
Sure.
I got some serious writing to do about my childhood.
There you go.
Today's overwhelming. I just know I need a break, let my mind calm down, and then get into the writing.
Good. Go easy on yourself. And give me one more feeling. Yeah. One more feeling. Overwhelmed and one more feeling. What? It could be anything.
Happy.
So there is some happy in there.
Yes.
In that crusty old soul.
Being able to see this in a different light. That's being able to see like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
There absolutely is. Skip, what are you feeling? It can be anything. Just be honest.
Absolutely grateful. I know that the challenge of healing oneself is very difficult and it's very painful.
So, and one more feeling. There's absolutely grateful. Give me one more feeling. If you're to just be honest.
Man, I just, I don't know. I'm just feeling very, very grateful for what you do and what your team does, the offer KC has done. It's just amazing to find people like you guys. I mean, it's just, I almost couldn't believe after I finished the book, and now that I'm actually here talking to you is just kind of surreal to me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, for what it's worth, as my dad used to say, he puts on his pants one leg at a time. He's not so special. I put on my pants one leg at a time. I keep trying to jump into them and then I fall over. And so we're all just, what's that old phrase? Just one beggar trying to show another beggar where to find food. So thank you. Fellas, I want to thank you for being on the show. This has been a hell of a ride, both episodes. Thank you for your openness, for your courage, for your honesty, and for your trust.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. And to my team, Rob, KC, final thoughts.
It's us that has gratitude for you. You're the brave one. You're the people doing the work. We're just here trying to help you. So we have a great deal of gratitude for both of you. So thank you for coming on.
Sven, you always help, but this seemed like an extreme example.
Very gracious. Could not have done it without the team. It's a team effort, and we always love having you, KC, out of the booth. We bicker and fight before the episode, and I'm sure we'll bicker and fight afterwards, but part of makes us a good team. Rob sort of rolls his eyes a little bit.
Leave me out of this.
Yeah. Well, we know we've got another exciting episode for you next week, and with whoever these guys have lined up for next week. To all of our listeners around the world, I know we all give thanks to these wonderful men that join the show. And to all of you, please know we send our love. Slay your demons. Have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.